what you can do in this town. You set it up and turn it around. We might have come from somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another edition of The Local Show here on GrassRoots Community Network. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Erik Skarvan, your host. This week, joined by two first-time guests, both from the city of Aspen. We're joined by Diane Foster, the Assistant City Manager, and Trish Aragon, our City Engineer. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
It's been really fun talking to you kind of earlier on today and getting up to speed. There's so many things we can talk about related to transportation. And we will talk about the entrance to Aspen, like we've been talking about for a few years now. But first, I wanted to start, by getting to know you. And Trish, let's start with you and some fun winter things that you like to do. You're an avid skier, correct?
Yes, I love skiing. I mean, I was lucky enough to get a job in a town that I absolutely love. And so I get to not only do what I love, but live in a town that I love. And part of that is skiing. And you're not going to move to a town like this, in my mind, and not have skiing as part of your blood, your culture. So yes, I ski. I try and get out, try and do a lunch lap, or if it's a power day, definitely try to get out, out there early to get those few laps in before, work or before a meeting. But yeah, I make it part of my everyday.
I love it. I love it. And we were talking earlier as well about the fact you guys block time just in case. Maybe not scheduling morning meetings because you may want to get out and ski a little powder on a powder day.
We all work really hard, and we have to set our meetings ahead of time. Most of the time, our meetings are set out a month, sometimes 2 months ahead of time. And I don't know if it's going to be a powder day a month ahead of time. So we intentionally block out our schedule in the mornings to, focus on, those things that we need to focus on at work. But in case, it is a powder day, that opportunity is available.
Right. You don't want to block off the very reason you're here.
Yes, exactly.
Or you want to block off time for the very reason you're here, which is just in case, we may want to ski a little bit in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I don't want to give this impression that that's all we do in the engineering department.
Bunch of ski bums, huh?
Right. But you can work for an engineering department anywhere in the country and be an engineer.
Right.
And to work here, you're choosing to be here. And part of that is this special town. And skiing is part of that.
Right. And Diane, you're a skier and snowboarder.
Yes.
Grew up in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. So you probably skied like Trish and I are both from Wisconsin. You had both kinds of skiing, the blue ice and the black ice?
Mm-hmm. And the squirrel frozen underneath.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's a full-on, because like the Midwest and the East, just kind of known for the icy skiing.
Well, it makes us better skiers.
Right. Yeah, and then you come out and ski powder. It's like you're totally spoiled.
Or
it's like easy.
Or you're a yard sale.
Right. And you actually, in your background, had actually quit your job and become a full-time snowboard instructor.
Yes, my parents were really impressed. I was 35, had just finished my MBA, and I quit my job. I was living in Europe. I was working in Europe, and I quit my job, moved to Maine to teach snowboarding full-time.
And were they seriously impressed or were they depressed?
They were
good.
They were okay with it in the end. But the week I got a paycheck that was $2.95, I realized I needed a second job, and so that was my entry into the ski industry.
And then, did you move from Maine then to Park City, or were there a couple stops in between there?
No, I moved from Maine to Park City. So I couldn't. I tried to get a job as a waitress, but they wouldn't hire me because I didn't have any background. So I ended up. I met an IT guy from American Skiing Company and ended up getting a job for them, and so I moved out to Park City with American Skiing Company, which was a good ride.
And how was Park City? You enjoyed?
Park City was great. We spent 20 years there. It's a good ski town, like every ski town. It's a good ski town.
It's kind of like the Aspen of Utah, right? It's like the high end. You've got Deer Valley there. And do they still exclude snowboarders?
They do. So I've skied Deer Valley, but never Actually, I have snowboarded. I've skinned up Deer Valley preseason and snowboarded down.
Okay.
So.
And here you like to split board.
Here I've got a split board. I had never uphilled. I had skins. I'd uphilled a little bit in Park City, but I never. The split board is just what a fun toy.
And where do you like to go up? Do you have a favorite mountain?
Buttermilk.
Buttermilk, yeah.
Of course.
That's pretty cool.
Of course. Although, you know, when you're going up Tiehack and the 80-year-old women are passing you, I'm like, I love this town, right? Like, how awesome is that?
80's the new 60, though. And
Absolutely.
60's the new 40.
Yep.
And we had Klaus on last week, and 103 is the new 83.
Yeah, good
It's
on him.
like unbelievable, and it's so inspiring, right? To see what people are doing.
Yeah.
You know, like I know Betty Meralt, you know, the Meralt kids who are so well known around town. She's biking up to the Bells in her 80s.
That's awesome.
There's a lady, Owen. She was last summer, 2 summers ago now, celebrating her 80th birthday by road biking to the Bells with her friends.
Wow.
She goes, can you take a bet? I just happened to be up there riding that day on my own. And she goes, hey, Erik, can you take a quick picture of me and the group? And so they're posing, and the Bells are there, of course, in the background. And I said, oh, no e-bike. And she goes, no freaking e-bike. And she pulls her road bike over her head, and she is like stoked. No e-bike. Boom, got the photo. And I'm like, you are my hero.
Right.
And it's so inspiring to see what people are doing at all these different ages, right?
Absolutely.
There's hope for us.
There is always hope. Always hope. Well, I'm hoping that I can take this break really quick and get back to this conversation, because we're going to talk. We have so much to get to, guys, including the entrance to Aspen, which is a critical issue for whether you're a resident or commuter. But first, I want to thank our winter underwriters that make these shows possible. Today with Diane and Trish from the city. We've got City of Aspen, Haiti Children, Aspen Square, Klug Properties, Red Brick Center for the Arts, Sundog Athletics, White River Overland, and Picken County Solid Waste Center. I've got them all in my head now. There's no teleprompter up there, you guys. We're going to go to our quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes, you guys, with Trish and Diane, and so much more. Don't go away.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Picken County Landfill.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland in Aspen specializes in camper van upfitting, catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts. WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. More information at whiteriveroverland.com. Providing exceptional service for over 50 years, Aspen Square features studio and larger condominiums for nightly rental with an ideal downtown Aspen location. They offer fully equipped kitchens, wood-burning fireplaces, and private balconies with full hotel-style services and gracious hospitality. Aspen Square is proud to support the local show. The Red Brick Center for the Arts is Aspen's hub for creative activity, offering youth and adult art classes, community rooms for rent, artist studios, nonprofit offices, lectures, events, and rotating exhibitions with artwork for sale. Come by to connect and be inspired. Learn more at redbrickaspen.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school and snowshoeing specialist since 1996, is your opportunity to experience private, all-inclusive snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and fat biking instructional adventures that will immediately improve your safety, performance, and enjoyment. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for fresh updates, or explore sundogathletics.com.
Support for the local show comes from the City of Aspen. The Castle Creek Bridge is nearing the end of its lifespan, and the city is proposing an entirely new bridge as a safe and resilient solution. You can learn more about the bridge construction, transportation options, and in-person and online public events at castlecreekbridge.com.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
We're back here on the local show, guys. Thank you for sticking with us, where we feature inspirational locals each week. And this is no exception. Everyone has their own inspiring stories, you know, and you know, you guys are involved in our community so deeply. Diane as an assistant city manager, working with Sarah then, and Trish, Aragon, you are our city engineer. And I mean, I guess I just want to start with, what does that mean? Like, working for the city of Aspen, I guess just generally, what do you have some thoughts on that, Trish? I mean, you've been working and involved with the city for a while, Diane more recently in the past couple of years. But I mean, what are your thoughts just working for the city?
Well, as city engineer, I lead not only the engineering department, the transportation department, and the parking department. And so what that means is that we move this community every single day, whether it's on a bus, on a car, whether you're walking, biking, we move everyone every single day.
Right.
I mean, that's
moving them about the area or the valley. And like, what are some of the goals in moving people around? Obviously safety, you would think, right? What are some of those other criteria?
Safety is the paramount, value that we follow. Is we want to make sure that the traveling public is safe at all times. So it doesn't matter if you're biking, walking, driving a car. We want to make sure you're safe. So that's the first part of it. The other part of it is to reduce our dependency on single occupancy vehicles.
Yes.
And that's part of what we think about and what we do every single day.
Right. And the environment, it's all related to the environment too, right? Caring better for the environment. And that's kind of like if people can carpool or take a bus or move more environmentally friendly, or move naturally, like they move in blue zones around the world where they have the greatest longevity. They move naturally. They're not even using engines. They use their own engine inside and walk or bike or somehow move themselves. And Diane, how your impression's a little different because you came from Park City, now you work for the city of Aspen. And what's just general feelings kind of working for the city, and maybe some specifics with your job?
Sure. I spent 22 years in the private sector in high tech, working in Europe and in the U.S. before I worked in local government. And I had every stereotype of government that a lot of people have. And a friend of mine one day asked me if I wanted to work at the city and be environmental manager for Park City. And I told him I couldn't afford to work in government. And I just thought it was, whatever stereotypes were. And what I found was that I could make a difference in working in a community that I love. And where do you get to do that? When I worked for American Skiing Company, I used to tell people my job was to keep the world safe for rich people to go skiing. and then I'd make a difference by doing volunteer. But the idea that you can make a difference and get paid for it's pretty amazing.
Right. That's really powerful. And it's got to be just super rewarding, right? For the both of you, like just knowing that you are making a significant difference. Well, we're talking about making a significant difference to the entrance to Aspen. We've been talking about it for decades. And let's go back in history a little bit, maybe not into the 1800s and the silver mining era and the trains and stuff, but the entrance has been, something we've been working on for a long, long time. 100 years, it's had its kind of, and we have some nice historic images courtesy of the Aspen Historical Society. But kind of maybe bring us up to speed, Trish, kind of in the last maybe 100 years, brief highlights of the entrance to Aspen. I know there's a lot to talk about there, but just kind of some highlights along the way and, some of the evolution that's gone on.
Starting with Edward Holden, or should I start?
I think into the 1900s a little
Okay,
bit.
all right.
So we're into like the
Yeah.
quiet years, you know, where there was ranching and farming, and we were growing more potatoes than the state of Idaho. You know, so I know there was a lot of potato growing going on, and then we had kind of a primitive entrance in a pretty rural setting, right?
So in 1961 is when actually the state was going to come. State wanted to come in and build a highway into town, and at the time, the community actually CDOT wanted to build it at the north side of town. So they actually they weren't intending to build the new bridge where it is today. You know, replacing the bridge that was there in 1890. They actually wanted to take it around town. And it was the community at the time that said, no, we don't want the highway to go around the town. We actually wanted to come through town.
Okay.
So in 1961 is when CDOT took apart the old bridge that was across Castle Creek there and built the bridge that we have today, is our existing Castle Creek Bridge. So that was done in 1961. Now, fast forward.
So that's got some years. I'm trying to do the math on that. Yeah, like 60-something years.
62 years.
Yeah, okay. So that's got, and then, well, and you're probably going to lead into several years ago, we had to do some basic work to kind of repave it. Was there sort of structural work as well?
Well, in 2018, we built that trail on the north side of the bridge, and at the same time, we replaced the deck itself.
Right.
So there's new asphalt and put new waterproofing on the deck.
Okay.
So that deck, so every time you repave a bridge, when you take off the asphalt, you take a little part of the concrete deck out each time. Okay. And now we're down to the rebar. So you no longer can repave this bridge because we're down to the rebar on the deck of that bridge. So that was the last go around. And at a bridge this age, you're going to get these kinds of the repairs are going to become more frequent. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing repairs every other year or so on the bridge, like we had this last fall. And there are times when these repairs, so we've been fortunate that we've been able to schedule out these repairs. We knew that the joint was failing, work with CDOT to schedule that this fall. Same with the deck. We tried to schedule that as best we could on the off season. But as this bridge starts to age, these repairs are going to be sometimes unexpected. So I don't know when the next repair is going to be or what it's going to be. It could be a replace or fixing the girder. Something on the deck could fail. But be assured that CDOT and the city, CDOT will make sure that this bridge is safe. So it is safe today. It's rated as fair, but it's near that point where it's going to go into the poor category, where we're going to see more frequent repairs, and it could happen in July, it could happen in the middle of winter.
So we don't really know exactly how much life is left in the bridge, or before it needs more significant repairs.
Well, the repairs we're trying to Band-Aid it up and get it to so it's is safe for the traveling public. Right. But it was designed for a 75-year design life.
Okay.
So in 1961, they didn't imagine that it would be the busiest 2-lane highway in the state of Colorado. So it's tracking pretty close to that 75-year life. So there's not a timer on it that's clicking off, okay, you have, this many days left. Okay, today you have this many days left. But we know it's going to be close to that 75-year life. So we're at, 13 years or so? Mm-hmm.
So it's critical to start having these discussions and getting out information and letting the residents especially know what the options are. And this, Diane, relates to the whole entrance to Aspen, obviously. If you're talking about replacing the Castle Creek Bridge, then we might think about redoing the entrance at the same time. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the preferred alternative, which is one of our options?
Sure, and you cited, Eric, the reason why City Council wants us to talk about this is the age of the bridge, and also because of climate change and wildfire. it's
Yeah.
more important to have that evacuation route.
Right.
So I'll get wonky for a second, but I like to demystify preferred alternative. So record of decision and preferred alternative are two terms we talk about a lot.
Okay.
The first one, record of decision, that's just it's a 37-page document that has about, about 150 pages of appendix, but it's like a book. You can read it, and I've read it, and all it is, it's a document that says, we evaluated these 43 alternatives. It's part of the process is the environmental impact statement.
Right.
And so the environmental impact statement, when that's done, the result is the record of decision.
Okay.
And the preferred alternative is what's described in the record of decision.
Okay.
And so the preferred alternative says, okay, we evaluated these 43. Here's how we evaluated them. Here are the ones that made it to the first stage, second stage, third stage, and the fourth stage.
Okay.
And the preferred alternative is essentially the winner.
Okay.
And then that record of decision is a federal document that they give to the state and say, now you can go ahead and build it.
I got it.
So it's the go-ahead.
We've got a great video, courtesy of the City of Aspen,
Cool.
about the preferred
good.
alternative. So let's take a look at that and learn a little bit more right now.
Our current Castle Creek Bridge is aging. It was built 62 years ago and needs to be replaced soon for everyone's safety. The preferred alternative approved by CDOT in the 1990s extends Main Street to the west over a new Castle Creek Bridge to connect to Highway 82, as it exists now at the roundabout. The roadway will consist of 2 general-purpose lanes, one in each direction, as well as an exclusive lane for mass transit. This will create a continuous route from the airport all the way into town to better accommodate mass transit systems that provide a car-free option for commuters. New connected open space will be created between the roundabout and Cemetery Lane where the highway used to be, and a new land bridge will connect the roundabout to Main Street and minimize the impact on the surrounding landscapes and ecosystems, creating a new wildlife corridor to keep animals safe. We need to prioritize evacuation routes in Aspen. The current S-curve does not meet this need. The preferred alternative, however, will increase the capacity and improve safety.
For more information about the history of this project and its future, visit castlecreekbridge.com.
So the choices for the residents are replace the Castle Creek Bridge. Let's address this to you, Diane.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's just do the preferred alternative, which was the best alternative coming out of the record of decision out of 43 different options. So those are really the 2 options that residents can start thinking about.
Sure. Because of the age of the bridge, it's really, we're kind of down to that. You know, I think even in the 2007 when they were talking about this, we weren't at the point where the bridge really needed major reconstruction. And so it is something we will be looking at in the future, is that it will need to be reconstructed at some point, because even if we build the preferred alternative and a second bridge, we'll want to reconstruct and make sure we have that other bridge, so we'd have 2 ways to get out of town. And when that reconstruction happens, it will look a lot like what we had this fall with 1 lane of traffic going at a time across the bridge.
Okay.
Except it would probably take 18 to 24 months.
Okay. And Trish, what's the timetable in terms of when the community's going to vote on it? I mean, right now they have opportunities to give input, right? Through like open houses and site visits, and what's kind of the timetable moving forward for this solution?
Right now it's up to council to decide when that community vote is going to go forward.
Okay.
Right now we're doing this awareness to let the community know what the preferred alternative is and what their options are.
Okay.
Oh, and I will add, was it 2 weeks ago on Monday, or a week ago Monday, the city council decided they would not put it on the ballot in March.
Okay.
So
I actually saw that meeting.
Yeah, so we won't vote on it this year or this March. They may do it in the summer.
Right, because they want to have time for that information to get out so people can make a really informed decision, right? Let's not rush it. You know, this is a big deal. This is like changing our entrance for many years into the future. We're out of time, ladies. Did you have fun on the show
Yes,
today?
thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you do for our community. I even baked you some cookies.
Nice.
Wow.
So please accept that as a small token of our appreciation.
That's awesome.
Great.
And we'll have to have you back on sometime if you'd like to come back on.
Thank you, Eric.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Diane. And thank you guys for watching this week on The Local Show.
Donate, shop, and save. The Mother Lode Mercantile, now open at the Picken County Landfill.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
White River Overland in Aspen specializes in camper van upfitting, catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts. WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. More information at whiteriveroverland.com. Sundog Athletics, Aspen's adventure sports school and snowshoeing specialist since 1996, is your opportunity to experience private, all-inclusive snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and fat biking instructional adventures that will immediately improve your safety, performance, and enjoyment. Like Sundog Athletics on Facebook for fresh updates or explore sundogathletics.com.
Welcome to